So, as we pick up with things, you all have moved into the lowest level of the Durst house. You are exploring through a dark stone dungeon. You found a few different locations where it seems to allude to the fact that you are in a big giant maze with a bunch of curves and corners about things, but you have more or less progressed to the west and have started to take some stairs down. I think at present we have Raymond moving a little bit to the side, the rest of the party rather lined up as they are heading downstairs. And as this group is starting to head closer and closer in this direction, you're hearing a louder and louder chant of He is the land, He is the ancient, He is the land, He is the ancient. And while this chant gets stronger and stronger as you all head towards the west, you start to head down the stairway, and it is Simorn who, kind of looking behind, is just aware enough to start to see that some of the stones that are the floor on which you all are walking on are starting to move. And as the dirt starts to shed from these moving stones, arms are reaching out and they're starting to push up, and we're actually going to start with you all rolling for initiative.
And a quick question, Jared. I'm getting to level 2, and so I'm getting up to level 2 Paladin, Jared. Do I get how many spells do I get? I have been researching them a few weeks ago to pick mine.
I feel like a paladin gets spells on level 3.
Okay, D&D Beyond said I had to do some checking in features and traits, so I'm just trying. I believe I was researching something else, maybe not spells.
Nope, you should have, looks like 4 spells prepared. So you can select those out of the different spells that you have. And then you need to pick fighting styles from your class. Oh, that actually might be you need to pick the cantrips from the cleric class that you chose.
Cantrips. That's what I really needed to grab.
So, as these creatures start to stand from the ground, there's going to be an odor that starts to pervade through this area, and you're just going to smell rotten death. And as this creature kind of creaks up to its full height, it's going to stand about 4.5 feet tall and just has kind of like a haze just oh man, just flowing from its body. And the moment it steps its last leg onto the stone, you're just going to see as it locks itself onto Sinmorn, and it is going to start to charge towards her, and its arms are just going to flail out wildly as it tries to grasp at Sinmorn. So the first strike should hit you with a 23, and it's going to do 6 slashing damage to Sinmorn, and then I need Sinmorn to make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. And you'll start to feel as your muscles tense up, and it feels like you're struggling to move, and Sinmorn is going to freeze into place. So you are paralyzed. That will limit a lot of what you can do on your turn here, but at the end of your turn, you are able to make another Constitution saving throw. Um, yeah, and effectively, it's actually just going to make you lose your turn, as Sinmorn is incapable of movement or speaking, um, and you're incapacitated. Yeah, so you can't take actions or attack.
Thank
Just really,
All right, two people go and ask questions there.
go ahead, Theo.
No, it's okay. Go for it. I don't have a question.
My question, Jared, was with the smell. Is this the whole party that's able to actually smell it, or is it just Sinmorn that's still kind of aware of like these creatures in the back?
There is no reason that all of you should not be aware at this point.
Okay, thanks.
The smell itself would certainly be far stronger for somebody like Theo at the back of the group. But for what it's worth, like the actual like movement of the flagstones and these creatures crawling up out of the earth is going to get everybody's attention. And that is effectively one of those things where you all are not surprised. It is next to impossible to surprise people who are in a creepy place. And that's one of the things, it goes both ways. Players have a difficult time surprising anything that has the vaguest idea that angry things can happen, because effectively everybody at that point is on some level of tension and ready for whatever might go down. So, for what it is worth, Sinmorn, if you can roll another Constitution saving throw. So, with that, your muscles are going to release and you start to be able to move again. It is still the end of your turn, but you are no longer paralyzed. And while the stench of that poison that was sinking through you might still be on your person, you also have a solid idea that you are at least not a primary target for being the thing that is already affected by these creatures. But for this upcoming turn, you will have options to take a reaction if something happens that like procs one of your reactions. That is not to say that you necessarily have them. But with that, it will go to Hector.
Okay, so I got my cantrips going in, or I think that was under fighting style, and I picked Toll of the Dead that can do necrotic damage. Would I be able to necromancy cantrip?
Sounds good. Turn around and toll the dead on that creature. So it's going to ask you to pick the damage die. Right now, that creature has taken no damage, so you want to select that it's taken no damage, and I believe that means it will roll a d8.
Okay, I'm trying to cast it from D&D Beyond. I'm clicking the little.
When you click it, you'll have to select that damage die, so make sure you see that pop-up window, or perhaps have it allowed to set a pop-up window. You can click the d8 from that.
Is that working? Sorry, I'm hearing dice pops, but not.
Yep, that's fine.
So that'd be not missing any hit points, correct?
That's correct. You rolled the d8. It's all set.
Okay, thanks.
So you see as the creature kind of like shakes its head a little bit. It doesn't seem terribly affected by it, but it's kind of shaking it off. And anything else from you? Would you like to move or take any bonus actions?
I will attack with my short sword.
Toll the Dead is going to be your action. So
Okay,
you don't have an
bonus
attack. Right
action would be just moving, correct?
It's not a bonus action. You always have your movement.
Just trying to get rid of this pop-up here. Cancel. It's not canceling. Just going to move there next to Debbie.
So Edwin and Sinmorn, a ghoul is going to run past you as it follows Hector down the hall. Would either of you like to take an opportunity attack as it comes close to you and runs past you?
Uh, am I able to make a spell attack as part of that, or would that require like having it ready?
You need Warcaster to make a reaction with a spell.
Okay, I figured there's something like that. I think I had said that I had my sword in my hand. I don't know if you
Perfectly
confirm that.
acceptable. Again, you guys should be on the ready in this place. You are walking around in a place that you know is a demonic cult, and they are yelling, "He is the ancient. He is the land." I think you guys should be suspicious.
Yeah, and by my sword, I totally mean my
A
little
dagger?
dagger.
That makes sense. Sinmorn, you might be in the same position as well, where your melee weapon is simply just a dagger. If you have nothing, you can also just swing with your hand, which is basically an unarmed strike.
And this is a flat attack, right?
It's technically your reaction. I'm not sure what you mean by a
Oh,
flat.
so I just said I meant advantage. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just straight attack. No advantage, no disadvantage.
I have a long sword, so can I roll for that?
100%. Anytime you don't roll damage, please just roll the damage right away. The dagger strike will grab some flesh. The longsword strike is going to come up short. Raymond, out of the same area where you're starting to hear these commotion. Oh, wait, I skipped one that's actually biting onto Hector. As you're hearing this commotion of like rocks breaking and stones falling, and you start to hear your friends coming into action, one of these creatures is going to run out of. I think Raymond actually has light cast, so he's going to run out of the darkness, and you're just going to see this skull with very little flesh left on it, and it just seems to be dripping this like green bile from its face. But that one is not going to strike out. This one will be at Hector, and I think a 12 is going to miss Hector, so it's going to go to Edwin.
All right. Is there anything about friendly fire with magic missile, or is
Magic
it?
missile 100% always hits. There is no way for magic missile to do anything but exactly what you want. As
Oh,
far as
awesome.
everything else
Okay.
goes, there's not really friendly fire.
And if there's anything in terms of like a cone, because it can be a multi-target. It doesn't have to be, but it can be a multi-target spell. I think if I stepped to the wall, not the wall that I'm next to right now, but here I'll mark it.
there definitely are cone spells.
Okay, so I would have to pick a target to focus on in this case.
What are you thinking, though? Still magic missile?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, as far as
So I'd
magic missile goes, I think at level 1 you can shoot 3 missiles. You could pick 3 different targets, but it does low damage, so generally magic missile you still want to stack.
Okay. Yeah, and especially with the layout that we're fighting in here, I think I don't really have a choice. I kind of have to pick a target. So I will. Is Sinmorn in the way right now?
Unless you do area of effect, no. Area of effect is the only way you can hit somebody who's friendly to you.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll cast magic missile on the zombie or whatever it may be that Sinmorn's fighting.
Gotcha. So when you go to roll that, you do want to make sure to click 3 times, but make sure that it still only uses 1 spell slot. But each missile can do separate damage.
Okay.
And then Ali, you'll be on deck. So that creature is going to, like, massive chunks of like bone and flesh are just getting ripped off of that thing as these little pings of missiles. Did you cast it at 2nd level? Or is that just 1 extra?
It says in D&D Beyond, it says 3 missiles at level 1.
Gotcha.
It calls them darts, but yeah.
You'll see, well, missile just means ranged attack. That's why they named it that back in the day. You can flavor everything however you all want. There is no reason to stick with any level of flavor. Like, magic missile, like, canonically is just like a little white dot of light almost. And again, it like always hits. So that's part of why that one has become a famous spell. But yeah, you're just gonna watch as parts of this creature's bones are like torn away from its body as they kind of fly away. And unless you have any other movement or a bonus action, it will go to Ali.
No, I don't think I have any relevant bonus actions. Also, apologies, I'm not like bringing it in terms of the role playing. My wife and I are getting over COVID. We actually stayed home for Thanksgiving, so energy is not there.
You're always welcome to do everything however you would like. Voices, narration, there's a lot of different ways to role play, so just playing how your character would play, also role play.
Cool. So with this ghoul that's like right here next to me, kind of seeing it come past, having my short sword in my hand, I kind of just swipe right out at it, just to see if I might be able to make.
Solid strike with that one. That actually is going to take like a few of the ribs off of the cage, and you'll see as this creature's like losing some of its like sustainability.
And then I'd like to try to bludgeon it with the torch that I have in my other hand using 2-weapon fighting. Would I just use unarmed strike for that?
With the torch, you can do a that's like an improvisational item. I would say do a strength check to see if you can hit it. You will not have proficiency though. So it's just like the strength check. And then I feel like a torch is probably a solid like D4 item.
Did I roll that right?
Yep, you did. So the creature is just going to just barely be able to kind of move itself out of the way after the sword strike. It was kind of ready for you to come at it with the second strike. Do you have any interest in moving? Otherwise, it will be going to another ghoul.
No, I think I'll just stay put.
And that's gonna go to Debbie.
All right, so I'm just going to try to give that one right next to me the like a big last blow with the great axe. Hopefully that will maybe knock out the other ribs that are still hanging on.
Same idea. After that sword strike, it's kind of in almost like a dodging motion, trying to move a little bit faster than you all swinging, and it's able to just move out of the way of your blade.
Shoot. Okay.
Any movement from you?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna move up and down the stairs to the northwest. Maybe get out of the way so we can retreat if needed.
So the stairs are going down in that direction, and as you kind of head around that corner, you see another set of stairs that are leading down. Oh, are you not going to move there?
Oh, sorry, I was waiting for you to finish what you were saying.
You're good. You see another set of stairs that are moving down and further into a deeper basement that are kind of heading to the east. But again, as a reminder, right now I think Raymond and Ollie are the ones with light sources going on. Like when you're just going on dark vision, I will almost always describe it so you are theater of the mind, and that allows that like twist of how the grays and blacks work, of how your vision is. But other than that, it's gonna go to Raymond.
All right. So first thing I'm going to do is drop my torch and draw my mace. And then I'm going to swing at Ghoul.
So as you swing out at it, it's like leaping through the air and it's watching your torch fall to the ground and seems to get distracted and leaps down towards the ground. But fortunate for it, it's going to miss your shot entirely.
All right. So I'm going to move a little bit. Do I need to do an evasion check or no?
If you are moving away, it is going to strike out at you. Um, don't think that's going to hit you at the 10.
So I'm going to move just right about here. So I can still see the light, see the ghoul by it, and I'm going to bless my mace with Daring Smite.
That's your bonus action?
Yep.
Gotcha. So as you are casting this searing smite, you're going to see as another creature runs from this direction, and this one seems to have like bones missing, as if it's almost only a half a skeleton, but it's going to claw out at you, and I think a 14 will miss you, and it's going to go to Sinmore.
How close am I to anyone?
Right now, you can see two of them to the north of you. basically like with Ollie and Hector kind of like back down the stairs. One of them is right next to Edwin, and then you basically would know that the other one has just kind of run away from you towards the east where you all came from.
Okay, I'm gonna attack with my longsword. Can I charge and strike?
Yeah, you can move. You can always move while it's on your turn. There's no limit on like if you move here, you can't move then. So you can take your 5 movement to move up to that one that's right next to Ali, or you could move up and then across and get to the one that is like behind Hector. And the one behind Hector shows more clear signs of wounds.
Okay, I'm gonna go and kill that one.
Excellent choice. So you are going to swing out at it. You're going to hit it. And apparently you are hitting with the flat side of your sword, as the sword is going to fail to do damage. Do you have a bonus action, or would you like to move again?
I'd like to swing again.
At present, you don't have an option to. When you are attacking with 2 light weapons, you can take a bonus action to make a second swing.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Is it overall your intention to have the longsword as a 2-handed weapon?
Yeah.
All right, for now on, we can rock out your longsword as a 2-handed weapon, but you will always be 2-handed.
Okay, that's fine.
So you can strike into that creature, cutting away a chunk of its flesh. It's barely hanging on, and it's going to go to Hector.
Okay. Hector is going to take a stab with his short sword right into the wounded monster.
Whenever the damage doesn't come up, click that pink button and roll the damage. So solid strike across the creature's body, right into the spine, and you're going to sever the head, and it's just going to plunk down to the ground. And this thing is still like biting out at you. It's just no longer able to make any sort of movement towards you.
Okay. Is there enough space to shoot my other hand crossbow in here?
You can draw your crossbow and take a shot.
Okay, so when I entered the last session, I had my longsword in one and my crossbow in the other. So I step on over the dead body onto the skull, and
Do not do that. You will be at disadvantage if you do that.
I
Being out of melee combat allows you to take a straight shot. Once you move up to it, that'll put you back into melee, and it would make it a disadvantage shot.
okay. Carefully putting the crossbow past Ali's shoulder so I don't hurt him. I just shoot the crossbow directly at the other priestly decaying monster.
Yeah, if you want to close the distance after you take a shot, that's fine. But inside of melee, all ranged weapons are at disadvantage.
Oh boy, I'm
Including
gonna have to
spells.
add the crossbow equipment. It was the one-handed crossbow.
This is a crossbow light or the crossbow pistol.
Yeah, it was the light one.
Wait a second. No, the light is a normal crossbow.
Okay.
Is it the hand crossbow, right? It's one-handed.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked about it being one-handed. So which one is that?
Should be a hand crossbow, I think.
Okay, and what's the best place to quickly add a piece of inventory? Should I do it from the character creation screen, or is there a way to do it right in?
In your inventory, manage inventory.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't coming up there.
Can you just roll a d20 for me real quick? We'll see if you even hit with it.
I was going to suggest that. That would be faster.
Nope, not going to hit. So while you are not playing, add that to your inventory. Raymond, one is going to run over you and cross back around the group. Would you like to take an opportunity attack?
Yes, I would. I'd like to swing, if I can, swing at him with my mace as hard as I can.
100%, go for it. And then Edwin, you are going to be on deck. Solid strike into it, getting it right on the hind.
Do I roll the
Cracking
extra?
into its... What was that?
Sorry, I'll let you finish your description.
Oh, wait, you do have your smite prepared, so you can 100% apply that.
Yes, please.
Cracking into its hindquarters, you are going to smash into this creature as it catches a little bit of fire. What is it? It takes the first one if it saves and the full 5 if it fails?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Is it taking 2 if it passes and 5 if it fails?
Think so.
And what is Edwin doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did that cut off exactly? Did you hear any of that?
I got nothing from you.
Sorry. If is there any downside technically if I cast Firebolt on the priestly corpse standing next to me?
Right now you are in melee, it would be a disadvantage. Do you have a cantrip that is a saving throw? A save or suck?
Thunderclap. That's an area effect.
Yeah, so on that level, you've got a sacrifice there. Do you want to make a lot of noise? Perhaps hurt Sinmorn, and get the other 2. Otherwise, you can make it a disadvantage and cast Firebolt, or you can step out of combat and risk getting bit/struck.
Yeah, I'll step out.
So you're going to do like 2 steps to the south? 2 creatures are going to
Yeah.
swipe at you. I believe 1 will hit with the 17 and the 12 will miss. And it's going to do 7 slashing damage to you. Please make a Constitution saving throw. You are good. For a few moments, you feel as your muscles start to tense, and it makes walking difficult. But as you start to cast your spell, your muscles are going to start to feel limber again, and you can make that firebolt. Casting it at the northern one or the southern one?
The northern one would be blocked by the southern one, right? I just assumed that would
On
be.
some level, there's a little bit, yes.
Yeah, I would just go for the southern.
Gotcha.
I'd like to use a luck point to reroll that.
Like from Lucky?
Yes.
Yeah, so roll a d20. So solid strike, roll the damage.
Sorry, wrong one. Hang on.
See, as the creature that like reaches out for you is just seared by the firebolt as you step away, and as it claws into you, its chest is just left open, and right into like this open cavity, the firebolt lands, and you just hear the sizzle inside of it. And it's going to go to Ali. If you have any other movement, Edwin, you are welcome to take it.
Just curious, who else has a torch? I know Raymond dropped his, but does anybody else in the party have a torch, or are they casting magical light?
I think I have a torch.
Who is that?
Debbie.
Caitlin?
Cool. So I'm actually gonna strike out at this ghoul right in front of me with the short sword. Just gonna kind of stab forward and like lunge, trying to stab it right in the stomach. And it looks like that hit. So yeah, I'm just gonna lunge forward and stab it right in the gut and just come up, right through its rib cage and up and out through its shoulder blades. And then as my bonus attack, I would like to cast. Actually, never mind. I'll hold off on that. Yeah, I'd like to try again. Could I take a second attack with a short sword, or with my short sword?
Do you have 2 short swords?
I do have 2 short swords.
100%.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll attack again with that short sword. Actually, I'm guessing that this ghoul right in front of me still has some hit points left. Yeah, so I'll just attack that ghoul again.
Gotcha. So that one is going to strike down and kind of remove like an entire arm from this creature. It's definitely pretty well wounded at this point.
And then the last thing I'll do is just move away from battle. Actually, no, I'll go ahead and stay put, so I don't have to take an opportunity.
I think this one's just going to slash back at Ali with a miss, and it will be on Debbie.
All right. Well, I've been useless over here to my comrade, so I'm going to make my way back up to this one staircase, and attempt. Or I'm wondering if changing to my two hand axes would be more useful, or whether they are still used like one at a time.
If you were thinking about it at the end of last turn, you could have drawn one of your hand axes, and you would have basically dropped your big axe. If you had done that, you would be able to have both out at this point, where you can make an attack with one and then an offhand attack with the other. But realistically, at low levels, the math is kind of in your favor when you are making more attacks than less.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so in that case, can I use my turn to like make my way back over to the group? Actually,
Yeah, you can get between Hector, Ali, and Sinmorn with a movement now, and you can attack, again, kind of depending on how you want to play it with either the great axe or the smaller axes. But if you're using the smaller axes to be able to make two attacks this turn, you would have had to have dropped your axe last turn.
all right. In that case, I'll hold on to the great axe for now.
Gotcha. That's far more important when you are fighting creatures that are intelligent enough to recognize that you're dropping a weapon.
Got it.
Things like goblins and kobolds will watch you drop your weapon, take it, and they will run away from a battle.
All right. So I run back up to the group. I'm gonna sort of shove my way through over the shoulder of Ali, and
You have to close that space. You can't actually attack over him.
oh, okay. So I'm standing on top of this pile of ribs, right? And I go with my great axe another time, hoping this time it actually does something.
Nice.
It's definitely the kind of something you want. You want to describe how you kill that thing?
Yeah, so as the axe came down, the head of the creature sort of wobbled right into the way and knocked clean off its head, ricocheted off the wall, and knocked it right off its feet, crumbling to the ground.
Excellent. And if you don't have a bonus action, it will go to Raymond.
All right, I'm gonna swing at this ghoul next to me with my Searing Smite mace. Does Searing Smite stay on for a full minute,
It is
or
gone.
it's gone? Okay.
Yep. Once you use it, it's expended. But
Okay.
you can bonus action to cast Searing Smite and then swing with your mace.
Oh, I can use my bonus first. Perfect. Yeah, let me. I'll cast Searing Smite on my mace again and swing at the ghoul.
It was a Constitution saving throw, and your DC is 13.
To me, Constitution's throw.
Yep. But your DC is 13. I feel like that's correct. But Searing Smite, though, was the Constitution. Yeah, Constitution word. So yeah, that strike into it. It's going to catch fire, and it's no. You don't have to make one. Your
Gotcha.
Searing Smite makes me take a Constitution saving throw. And as you smack into it with the force of the mace, the creature kind of resists before its flesh starts to burn from the inside out. And as the bones crumble into dust, one less creature in front of you. And it's going to go to Sinmorn.
Okay, I'm gonna take a stab at the ghoul to the right of me.
Yep, you've got one down southeast of you.
Okay, I'm gonna swing. What the hell is with my rolls?
Ducking and weaving like a butterfly, it's going to go to Hector. You're welcome to move or take any bonus actions in one.
Okay, will I be blocked from moving past Ali and Debbie?
It would take you 10 movements to move to where Ollie is, 15 to get past him, but that's what you would end up doing here. Effectively, you can move through other players. It's difficult terrain, so twice your movement. You just cannot stop on another player. So you have to move through and leave that space before you're done with movement.
And how much would reloading my crossbow take? Is that like a special action or is it a full action?
As far as that go, crossbows just cannot be shot multiple times in a turn.
Okay, so is it technically already reloaded while I've been waiting in the background here?
Yeah, I think it's that like gray space of it is a free action.
Okay. I'm going to move up and swing with my short sword.
Should be left of that to get it to actually roll the attack.
Sorry, that hit crossbow on accident.
So the short sword's going to miss. The crossbow will hit. Roll the crossbow damage. So as you pierce through the creature's throat, you would expect it to fall dead, and you can see is just the magic emanating from this thing. It is just barely hanging on to the last throes of life. And it is going to take a swipe out at Sinmorn. It's going to do 13 slashing damage to Sinmorn.
Can I cast like mending or healing word on myself? I'm like about to die.
On your turn, you definitely can cast Healing Word on yourself. Mending does not do anything for players. If you can do a Constitution saving throw, though. So once again, you feel as your muscles start to tense up, and it's going to go to Edwin. You are not paralyzed, though.
All right. I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna cast another magic missile at this guy. Yep.
So as you zing these missiles into this creature, as it's striking out at Sinmorn, describe how you kill it.
I see it shrug off the.
Lost you after shrug off the.
Sorry. I as I pulled away from the combat to get the space needed to sling my spells, I felt it, claw at my back. And wincing, I turned around and I casted Firebolt and was very disappointed in the lack of effect. So I take a deep breath, bring my hands together, and like lightning bolts in a deep ocean storm, I fling the magic missiles right at its head, and then just give it a stink eye. Did you hear that? My push to talk button's different on this keyboard. It's kind of
Gotcha.
annoying me.
So as the last of these creatures crumbles to the ground, what would everybody like to do?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna reach out and just touch Sinmore and cast Cure Wounds on her or on them. Sorry.
As I'm no longer lighting my way with active spells, I'm going to cast light on my dagger. And then I'd like to walk over to one of these bodies and just check its pockets and generally investigate it. Just see if we can't figure anything out off of it.
You can start to look over the bodies, and there's flesh, there's bones, and there's stench. But these things are well beyond having any clothing left. They're very juicy. This is like flesh that has been rotting, and it's almost like it's been held in this rotting stage.
So there's no pockets on these robes.
If you want to go in for some pockets, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, because you're reaching inside of a corpse. You reach in, and yeah, you're definitely fumbling around inside of a thigh bone that's a little bit of muscle sinew. Yeah, this thing is not wearing clothing.
I think it might be time to tell you all that when we were upstairs, I actually dug through one of the jewelry or that shelf that had all the jewelry in it, and I found a lot of jewelry that looks to be worth a lot of money. So just wanted to let you guys know that. So in case we get out of this damn place, you know that we have a lot of money in our pockets.
It's great news because these guys don't have any gold in their pockets or pockets.
Yeah, and I might need new shoes after standing in one of them for like 10 minutes.
If you like, Edwin, I have some water in my canteen that I can pour over your hands to help you wash off all that mess.
I'd very appreciate it. Thanks.
Go ahead and just pour a little bit of water over Debbie's boots. Would say you all, should we go check out these weird noises that are coming down from what seems like the basement?
Yes, let's continue downward. Does anyone need healing? Sinmorn, are you healed?
No, I'm gonna heal myself.
I also have lay on hands.
That would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a little healing too. I have pretty pitiful health and no armor.
So can I do lay on hands to both of them? I have 10. I think 10 uses per long rest.
How much are you doing on Sinmore?
First on Sinmore, and then on Jim. Forgetting your character's name. Sorry.
Edwin. And is that one where you have like a certain number of hit points to dole out?
He does indeed.
All right, I only took 7 damage, so just
You all don't know numbers.
that's fair. I figured you'd say that.
People, like, when you hit half health is when somebody looks bloodied. That's the bloodied condition, is when somebody is at half of their hit points. So that's why
I'm
I
at 8 of
asked
15, so
yeah, I don't think either of you looks bloodied anymore. You understand that you are at less than ideal, but definitely there's no reason to speak in hit point numbers. So that's why I say if he wants to lay on hands for you, he's just picking a number arbitrarily and healing like that.
So Hector lays his hands on first Sinmorn and then Edwin.
thank you kindly.
Thank you. Wait, does that take me to full health?
It's 10 technically, but we're not talking about that.
Wait, your total pool is 10. That's why I was saying, how much are you giving to Sinmorn?
Okay, Sinmorn only needed a few left, and then.
But that again is my point of why you need to pick a number, because you don't know how much Sinmorn needs left.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick 8.
So then you'd be able to do 2 for Edwin. And that'll clear out your pool for this, I think, long rest.
I have 10 total. I want to expend 8 on Sinmorn and Edwin. So I just have 2 left from my pool, if that's
So are
possible.
you splitting that 50-50 then?
Yeah, I guess split 50-50. So expend 8, and then I'll have 2 left. Or should I just whatever? I can just I'll expend it all. I'll spend all 10.
Oh, I just want to know how many actual points to mark up on my.
So if you that's 7 for Jim, and then something for Sinmorn. I don't really know.
While they're like killing over here, I think I'm just gonna go look for Raymond, being that like we haven't seen him this whole entire encounter, just to make sure that he's all right.
Should pick up our torches too.
All right, wait, hold up. Ali, walking down that hallway, you are going to hear a creak. I need a perception check from you.
Okay.
And then roll a dexterity saving throw. As you are stepping through this corridor, you're going to hear some creaking. And as you start to look, you're watching as the floor is falling out below you. And as you fall, you're going to drop to the ground and take 5 points of bludgeoning damage from the fall. And then and then 13 points of piercing damage from spikes that are at the bottom of this pit.
Okay, that would put me unconscious. It actually go past my hit points.
Yeah, as long as it's not double your hit points, it's nothing, so you just go back to 0. So you all will watch as Ali kind of steps away from the party, and he is going to fall into a pit, and you won't hear anything else from him.
So much for checking on Raymond.
So I hear a commotion, and I'm gonna run over, grab my torch. I'm gonna put away my mace and have my shield out still, and then kind of just walk here to the edge of the stairs and look around to see if I see anything after the commotion.
Yeah, so from the bottom of those stairs, it won't be difficult for you to see that the hallway leads off in that western direction. And from where you would expect to see floorboards, you see like the flicker of firelight and then otherwise darkness. So it's pretty easy to tell. There's no floor there.
All right, I'm gonna walk my way back to the party.
It seems like Ali took the shortcut to go down, but I feel like we should take the stairs, or I could try. Could we throw a torch down there to see if we can find him?
I think his torch might have fallen with him. Well, first we should head carefully down these stairs, or anywhere else we want to explore before we go save Ali.
There's no real reason for you to like not know what direction he went in from the party.
So assuming he went down to where this chanting is coming from. If that what you're saying?
Oh no. You went towards the chanting last time, Debbie. Chanting's coming from the southwest. But yeah, you would know that he basically turned to the east at the bottom of those stairs.
Got it. So should we go down the stairs and find him? I can lead the way.
Let's do it. Can I check? Can Hector go?
Ali, please roll a death saving throw for me. So you hear like coughing and like choking on blood. It's quite a horrendous sound to hear after having a friend kind of disappear from your view.
Okay, Hector's going to follow the sounds of the coughing, and then carefully stand at the edge of the. Well, Debbie, can you bring the light? Carefully stand at the edge of the pit that he starts to see.
And the torch fell in the pit with me, right? That's still lit in the pit, so you can see to the bottom.
Yeah, that's why I was saying Raymond can see the pit because the torch fell with you. You fell with the torch. So there would be that glow, like clearly something's down below that area.
Thanks.
Ali, can you hear me? Are you good enough to climb a rope if we throw it to you?
And
When you
that
look down
last,
there, you very clearly see Ali is impaled by multiple spikes in the bottom of this pit, and he is not moving.
All right. Well, there's no helping him up if he can't somehow get the rope around himself.
I'd like to
Yeah.
cast Mage Hand and try to move the rope, assuming it's not like a fantastical The Princess Bride hemp rope that weighs 75 pounds.
maybe we can tie this rope around him and pull him up. Unless, Debbie, you can lower one of us down.
Yeah, I'm strong enough to do that.
All right. I'm willing to
Did no one hear that, or is that
I don't think we heard what you would have said.
okay? I moved. I followed the commotion to the pit, and as we were talking about the rope, I'd like to cast Mage Hand to move the rope around him.
You can make a Arcana check. See how effective you are at tying knots with the mage hand. Right now, Ali.
Can I get advantage on that?
Throw.
It looks like
Why
it didn't
would you have
matter
advantage?
because I was on a sailing ship for years and years, but it doesn't matter because I rolled 2 9s.
No. The skill was far more to do it with a mage hand than that you have that ability. The three of you standing over this pit are watching him continue to choke on his blood.
Debbie. Hector ties the one end of the rope around him, around his waist. Debbie, do you think you can lower me down, and then we can help pull him up? As I tie the rope around underneath his arms.
Yes, I'll tie the rope around my waist as well, just as a safety precaution. I can attempt to slowly lower you down.
And Hector takes one last look before he lowers down. Is very carefully dropping down. Could he stand somewhere at the bottom of this pit?
Trying to stand at the bottom of the pit is a potential, but you have to make a check to see how successful you are.
All right.
When you're going down into this pit, do you have healing to heal Ali?
I did have a spell I was looking at. I had Spare the Dying.
All right. Roll a dexterity check here. All right. So as you get down to him and cast Spare the Dying, Ali, roll another death saving throw. You're already spared, but we're going to see what he sees. The first gasp of air from you. You guys have to be quick. When somebody is unconscious, he was a die roll away from dying there. There's a clock timer going when you guys go unconscious to make decisions, because that's when your characters are like on point. Pressure is flying. That's when a healing spell is most important. But you're able to get to him fast enough and stabilize him. Now you've got some time to take care of getting him out of there.
Got it. That's good to know.
I have a little timer, and while you guys like chat, plot, and plan, that timer flips, and that was every time that he was getting basically told to roll. So you guys can eventually get Ali back up out of this pit and get him back onto the solid ground. But as of now, he is at 0 hit points, but stable.
All right. So we're going to, and just a question with the hit points and expending those either. When I was kind of expending them earlier, and we're not supposed to talk too much in hit points, like I was trying to most efficiently spend my healing hands, lay on hands, and just have a few left. But it seems like you were saying, hey, we can't really talk about it. I just got to pick a number and go for it.
Yeah, you have an understanding of your pool. So, like, if you say 50%, that's 5 healing points right now. But a hit point does not exist inside of the game. So there's a certain level of you have to deal with the mechanics, but in the long run, knowing that somebody needs healing is different than, like, right now, Ali is punched through with multiple holes through his body. His body clearly says, heal me.
Okay.
Whereas Sinmorn and Edwin at the end of that battle, they were I think Sinmorn was probably bloodied, but I don't think Edwin was ever looking bloodied.
Okay. So knowing that, I wanted to, since they seemed like hurt but not too bad, I wanted to use 8 of my pool. I still have two left to patch up 2 huge holes in Ali. And that'll be my entire pool. And after laying hands, Ali's still shaky. I try carefully to brace him against the wall and tie the rope around his underneath his arms so Debbie can pull him up to safety. I'm going to wait at the bottom of the pit.
Time-wise, there's no rush on all of that stuff. Like I said, you've got him out of the pit at this point. The time crunch there was to see whether you guys got to him and stabilized him fast enough.
So one at a time, first Ali, and then Debbie pulls Hector out of the pit. Does anyone else have any healing? Ali needs it. I've exhausted my healing hands.
I'm actually gonna make a prayer to the fates and pray that they heal my wounds and cast Cure Wounds for my second spell slot. And I would like to use Lucky to be able to cast that or roll that one more time.
Lucky's only for a D20.
Got you. Okay.
Ali, can you speak? You barely muttered out that spell.
Still bloodied, but able to walk. I guess with the crutch. Yes, I'm okay, but I don't feel very well. I don't know if I'll be able to make it the rest of this voyage. One of you should take these precious jewels that I found upstairs in case I don't make it. And with that, I'd be happy to give somebody, whoever wants to take them, the 3 gold rings and the amulet that I have.
Ooh, I like the amulet.
I would like the amulet as well.
Well, I've got some rings to go around. Share.
I'm gonna need you 2 to play rock, paper, scissors for it.
I will happily take whatever no one wants, just to spare our injured friend the load of carrying these items.
For Hector making the the save, I'm definitely gonna give him the gold rings that I have. So I'll exchange. I'll give Hector 3 gold rings. Let me look at my inventory really quick to tell you what they're worth. You'll have to put them in. They're each worth 75 gold pieces. Hector.
Can you repeat the cost one more time?
Yeah, there's 3 gold rings, each worth 75 gold pieces.
And I'll take one ring.
Oh, my bad. They're actually each worth 25 gold pieces. So 75 in total. And then Tony and Sinmore, can you guys roll a d20 to see who gets the amulet?
Damn, I rolled a 5.
All right, so I'll hand the amulet over to Tony, and that's gonna be a platinum necklace with topaz pendant worth 750 gold pieces.
Topaz pendant with what?
It's a platinum necklace with the topaz pendant.
Cool. Worth 750.
That's right.
Gold pieces, right?
That's right.
So as Ollie hands this to me, I'd like to cast Identify on it and see if there's any properties about it or where it came from.
Do you have a pearl?
Now that you mention that, I don't believe I do.
You need to go out of your way to acquire a very valuable pearl.
Well, as I look at this, I wish I could identify it. I tuck it away.
Shall we make our way downstairs, or, or should we leave this damn place?
I'd like to leave, but I don't know where we'd go. We haven't really gotten any answers on what we found here.
I don't trust those children.
Let's keep moving forward. I'm gonna make my way down the stairs.
I'm gonna follow.
Raymond, you are more than welcome to make an Arcana check, though, to try to sense what the amulet might be. Doesn't seem to be magical.
I'm gonna holler back at Ollie and Edwin and ask if they're joining.
So as you all walk down the stairs and the chanting gets a little bit louder and a little bit louder, you start to see as the stairway turns to the right, there's a moisture in the air, kind of a odor of mildew. The stones seem to have lichen growing on them. This area is not nearly as well cared for as the rest of this place. And eventually you'll start to round the corner and see a large room ahead of you with a bunch of little cubby holes in it. Among those cubby holes are tiny little things kind of stowed in each one of them. And you've got pillars throughout the room. There seems to be a doorway leading off to the west, kind of on the northern end of this hall, as well as another way that is blocked off with metal bars, both of them being on the western side. And as you all start to look around, a lot of these ornaments in the cubby holes are bone, carved and decorated as different things. A finger bone, a frog leg, a femur that's carved into some sort of like water sprinkler and used to kind of bless holy rituals. This one's carved into a knife blade. Another one is a knife blade with a rat's skull in the pommel. Walking around this area, there's shrunken heads, tiny little bags, all kinds of horrific things set in these cubby holes.
Hector makes his way down to the end of the stairs and tries to look at the floor to see if there's anything unusual about the floorboards or floor itself, considering Ali's terrible recent accident.
Looks like stone.
Are these cubbies in the walls or in the floor? Where are these items that we're looking at?
What was that question?
You mentioned a bunch of distinctive items. Are these kind of cubbies in the walls that these interesting things are?
Yeah, throughout this whole room.
And you mentioned that there was a dagger in one of these cubbies, right?
Yep.
Hector gingerly takes one step onto the stone floor.
Well, since you said gingerly, you don't fall to your death.
Someone stay close to Ali at all times. We've almost lost him.
I'm not dead yet.
I'll be your bodyguard. Got you.
Thanks. Fist bump you as you go by.
Hector goes up to inspect the first cubby on the right.
Looking over it, you see a small hand, maybe about a third of the size of your own. It seems to be desiccated and perhaps mummified. It's got sharp fingertails that protrude out of the fingers. A little bit of a loop of a rope hanging from it.
Considering the ancient stories of dungeons, be careful touching anything, Hector says as he turns back to the party. Debbie, can you bring your light and see if there's any closer doors that we can make out? Maybe secret doors in these walls.
We got a
Yeah.
door almost directly to the west of you where you're at.
Is this a clear door or is it like a secret, hard to see door?
No, this dungeon is crap. These pictures, it doesn't have the door there. But that's the one door, and then this is the one with the metal bars.
Is it possible to be able to? I mean, since we're hearing like this chanting and stuff like that, can we tell if it's actually coming from like that side of the room?
It's getting louder as you all walk down the stairs.
But can't sense a direction necessarily.
I mean, while you all are being coy about walking in there, no. It got louder walking down the stairs is the best you've got while you're on the stairs.
All right. Well, and I'm going to tiptoe my way down to the stairs, but I'm going to sort of hug the wall as I go towards the door on the opposite side, Hector. Unless you still want me to come shine my light over on that wall.
bring your torch to the other door. That's a good plan, Debbie.
Roll a perception.
Knock over a
What were you gonna knock over?
funky looking femur bone because it grosses me out.
Yeah, you can't really tell where the sound's coming from, but it's probably down here. What's everybody doing?
If we're nervous about the floor collapsing again, is there anything we can tie a rope to above the stairs, or somebody that wants to hold a rope to let the others go in case the floor does collapse? Or
There's little pillars in this room as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just wrap the rope, because we all have hempen rope, I believe. We can wrap around our waist and kind of just walk around the room.
I was
Well-
almost thinking we could like daisy chain a couple people's rope together. Just whoever's made it farther, tie it around the pillar and kind of bucket brigade it that way.
A couple of us could also hold the rope, and then as the person walks out, kind of just give it a little bit more slack, so that way if they do fall, it's not like a ton of slack or anything like that. We'll like catch them before they can actually fall all the way down.
Yeah, good call.
Who's I guess
Sinmorn and I should stay back on the stairs, so at least two people are on solid ground, maybe anchoring the far end of the room.
I'm pretty strong. If someone wants to help me, I guess tie a rope around somebody else and just hold on to them.
Strength is not my strong suit.
Debbie,
yeah, can I toss somebody a rope and so I can go take a look through these bars down here?
let's just toss the rope around you, and then Hector and Raymond can help me kind of hold Debbie in case she falls.
Cool. Making my way.
As you walk down over there, you're able to see that there's some sort of water collecting in it's almost like a ramp from where you are, descending about 9 or so feet down to where the water is collecting at the bottom. And then on the opposite side, you see another portcullis made of steel that's kind of dropped down, blocking the way.
What do you see, Debbie? Hector asked.
Some water?
You said a ramp? More
Yeah, a
traps?
ramp.
More traps in this cursed place?
Sounds like it. I mean, do we try to make our way through these bars where we can sort of see what's beyond them, or do I try to break down the door? We don't really know what's right behind it.
I don't know if even an orc strength can crash through those steel bars.
I
Might
kind
as
of
well just
doubt
take
it
the
as
door.
well.
So we reel you back in on the rope, and then Hector opens this door right here.
Yeah, so you all see is that little corridor extends off for about 20 feet to the west of you before it seems to turn to the north.
Hector is going to, well, Debbie, can you put your torch around the corner so we can see?
Yeah, I'm coming.
I'll follow behind Debbie with my short sword drawn out.
So, just so we're clear, do we have like a pathway of ropes tied to pillars, or are we all like individually anchored?
So we all walked on the like the north end of the room because we were afraid to step all over the center. And then Debbie is tied to a rope with Hector and Ollie, if I remember, unless anyone else is holding it.
Okay, so it's a 2-to-1 anchor, like leading, like pathfinding, basically.
Yeah, Debbie's
Okay.
going first, and we're holding her if she steps on anywhere strange.
Yeah, Squid Game style.
Still haven't seen it.
All right, peering around the corner. I don't see anything yet. You guys are clear to follow.
So as you round the corner, Debbie, you're going to start to see cells, and predominantly done with stone. There's still steel work to them, but looking through this area, you 100% are in some sort of cell. Jail cell, prison cell, not really clear to see. There's an occasional bone. There's still like shackles mounted to the wall in most of them. A lot of spider webs down here, but definitely some sort of place for keeping people against their will.
Ugh, more spider webs. The worst. I'm gonna just peer into this first cell on my right.
Just shackles and bones, spider webs.
Hector appears on the cell to the left.
Bone, shackles, and webs.
All right, well, I'm done with the webs. I'm gonna keep moving past these cells unless anybody wants to investigate.
No, forge ahead.
So as you move forward, you can see that you're nearing the end of the actual cells, about 30 foot to the west of you. Looking into this area, the cells are in a different shape. That they kind of extend off to the east and west rather than just being north and south. But other than that, bones, webs, and manacles.
I'm gonna keep trudging forward.
Sounds good.
So by the time you make it to the last of these cells in that northwestern position, you see that this is the one that still seems to have bones with clothing. There seems to be a human skeleton who's wearing a black robe.
It's pretty spooky. We should check out the pockets.
Check out
Roll
the pocket.
investigation, Debbie.
It says we could use this rope to blend in if we need to.
As you start to look for pockets in the robe, you see that one of the bony fingers has a gold ring on it.
Well, I'm not that super interested in golden things, but I'll take the ring anyway. Might be able to fit on my pinky.
I'll push past Debbie, be like, make sure you give it a good once over, and I really start to dig through like the cloak and kind of a little bit more aggressively investigate the body and the cloak.
Debbie, you can write down that the ring costs or is worth 25 gold.
Okay, thanks.
Ali spends the next 10 minutes looking through this robe, hoping that this cultist had something of value. Maybe a few more minutes and you'll be able to find something.
All right, I'm not finding anything here. Is there any doors or anything that we can see within these cells, or any, I guess, windows or anything like that?
Nope, everything down here. Right now, you're seeing the manacles, bones, and spider webs. Looking through everything, the one person who was in robes kind of sticks out a little bit differently. Everything else just seems to be part of this stone dungeon.
Hector would like to take off and dust off the robes as a potential disguise and put it on.
I think this is the end of the cells in this dungeon. It looks like we might actually have to somehow get through those steel bars and go down through the water if we want to keep on trekking through this dungeon.
I bet you one of those cubbies releases us down some kind of ramp.
It's possible that there's a secret mechanism like the one that we found upstairs in the bookshelf. We should definitely go check through the cubbies, but be careful as we're going through that whole entire area, not to fall prey to a trap.
All right, let's return to the. If we can't see anything more here, we'll return to the main room.
In our caution to avoid the floor traps in the pillar room, did we closely investigate any of the cubbies?
Just one, I
Like to
think.
where we could just one.
Debbie smashed one, and I looked at one closely, but I did not touch it out of caution. The hand.
I'd like to, if I can backtrack and look close to, if there's one close to the stairs that would seem like relatively close to the safe path, I'd like to get a closer look and maybe rifle through it.
One of the two that are closest to the stairs is the one that Hector saw, which was the mummified hand. The one that would be pretty much in front of you there, Edwin, looks like a little wooden coffer. And if you open up the box to look inside, it looks like a canine tongue. And it's just a dried tongue.
Let's head back, y'all.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to learn anything else here.
I'm gonna look in this cubby on the west side.
There's just like a little wooden figurine who's carved. Seems like they're a humanoid, arms crossed over their chest, and it almost seems like it's carved to look like it's wrapped in a fabric.
I'm gonna pick it up and investigate it.
Still looks like a 6-inch tall figurine. It's carved to look like it's wrapped in fabric.
I'm gonna put it right back where I found it.
The shriveled hand that I looked at had a rope attached to it of some kind, I believe, in the top right corner.
A little rope.
Edwin, care to do the honors?
Gladly.
It was this one over here. And you want to inspect it, Edwin, or I will?
Yeah, I can.
looks like a hand that's shriveled and dried, with big claws coming out of its nails and a loop of rope.
Where does that loop of rope lead, Edwin? Does it lead? Is it just hanging, or is it attached to the wall?
Roll an insight, Hector. Looks like it's a handy way to keep your hand on your belt.
I would like to go over to the steel bars and kind of just look around the steel bars to see if I can notice any keyholes or any mechanisms or anything like that that might lift these bars.
Roll an investigation, please. What's Debbie thinking back there in the prison cells?
I'm making my way back through the door.
Like closely looking at all the prison cells?
Yeah, kind of swiping through the cobwebs and stuff as I go.
Roll a perception check for me. Ali, as you're kind of looking through for a keyhole, you don't see any way to open those from this side. Debbie, as you're swiping away at the different cobwebs and taking a last look before everybody ignores and leaves this area behind, you spot there's a door on this southern side of the weird prison cells.
All right, I call out, guys, there's a door. I found a door. I'm gonna go to the door.
Getting closer to it, you just see a very smooth outline where there's just a couple of different points where it seems like the stone was just a little bit too close as it closed, like where it just chipped off a little bit, and there's just like 3 or 4 of these points around the edge that really like jump out at you that there's actually a door to be opened here.
That seems like something I could smash. All right, I'm gonna try to kick open the door.
Roll a strength check or athletics. As you kick into the door, it is just going to soar open as if it would have taken no effort at all to open it. And you're going to see a massive chamber in front of you with a pool of water about 6 feet below. The pool has a central dais that is a circular location with a single sacrificial altar on top of it and a single knife just set in the center of it. And as you come into this area, the chant very clearly changes as you start to hear the end comes. Death reigns. The end comes. And this chant just continues on and on until as you step into the room, Debbie, you're going to see that there's a top level to this area. And around the entire circle atop this central location, there's just figures cloaked in black who are standing above. And all of their cloaks, even though you can only see blackness inside of the hoods are staring at you. And you just hear the chanting coming from them.
I am simply frozen in fear.
So Hector takes the hand and puts it on his belt loop, and then begins to make his way quickly towards Debbie.
I'd like to.
Lucky rabbit's foot.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying it's like a lucky rabbit's foot.
Then more in that way, it's still blocked off. You can't actually make it through that way.
I'd like to equip my crossbow and step up next to Debbie, and then cast light on the bolt that I have loaded and loose it at one of the figures on the balcony.
As you loose
What
the
is
crossbow bolt, there's a cacophony as the chant stops. Nothing happens from up above, but the chant becomes, "One must die. One must die. One must die." And at this point, you all can barely even talk to each other from right next to each other. This is loud, unbearably. This is painful to experience.
My wife walked in just there, so I didn't open the back. Not that I'm sure it matters.
I'm gonna walk in the middle and pick up the dagger that's sitting on this altar and hold it up to see if I can arise out of these cultists.
Same chant still continues.
Okay, then I'll yell out, "And if I take a life, what then happens?"
Same chant continues.
Hector takes a look at this pile of bones here on the left.
Having seen Ali walk through the water, if you walk into the water, it's probably about 6 or 8 inches deep. The bones themselves seem to be a massive pile, maybe almost 20 feet in this whole little corridor where they're kind of stored there. And they're stacked up probably another like 3 feet above the actual water level. So that's like a small little like stack or a pillar of bones that just seems to be cast aside as if it were just trash.
I'm gonna make my way over to the south hallway over here.
You can see along that eastern wall where the portcullis is that there's an actual handle to rotate that seems to be what would activate the portcullis and allow you to raise it.
I see Debe doing that, and I'd like to walk over and suggest that we open it up in case we need an alternate escape route.
Good idea. And if Sinmorn, you want to come through? Oh, I guess the bars are still blocking you from getting into this area. But
You all would also recognize, like, climbing up a slide may not be a sufficient escape route.
I still say we pull it.
seems reckless, but I'll do it. So I pull the handle.
This is going to take active effort from you. You're going to notice, like, as you turn this, every single turn that you take, if you go to let loose of it, it's going to rotate back. So as you continue to open this, you can slowly open both of those portcullis. But you have to hold it there, or it's just going to close itself back down.
I'd like to look around and see if there's any like debris or beams or anything that we could prop it with.
Hector's got a bunch of bones by him.
Hey Hector, how? Oh, he can't hear me. I'd like to walk across to within whatever earshot is over the din of this chanting.
Pretty much like your mouth in his ear.
I walk over and yell in his ear, "Do you think any of these bones could support the weight of that portcullis?"
We'll give it our best shot. Take a few femurs and take these. Hector hands him 3 giant femur bones.
Roll a perception check. As you reach into the bones, something's going to move. You want to grab some bones?
I ready my short sword, being a movement.
Roll for initiative. Reach into the bones and the chant changes. You see as this mound of bones is one large coalescing figure. It starts to move and it starts to twist up into a little bit of like a whirlwind almost, as the bones seem to just pick up into a large pile, and they are going to leap out.
Well, Jim rolled 21 initiative, then I rolled 17.
Edwin, Debbie, what are your dexterities?
14.
14.
Which one of you would like to go first?
I'm right next to this guy, so I'd like to go first if that's possible.
Edwin, as Hector reaches in and you see this thing's form changing, what would you like to do?
It's my movement's 30 feet, and the range on this is 120. So I'm going to take my full move back towards the rest of the party, although they're kind of scattered. And then cast Firebolt on this guy, or creature or thing.
Gotcha. Roll the attack. Debbie, you will be on deck. Just seems to sink into the water right before hitting the creature. Feels like a miss.
All right, bonus action. I'm going to use Font of Magic and burn a sorcery point to gain a spell slot. And that's my turn.
It's not a 2-to-1 ratio.
I don't see anything about that.
Yeah, it costs 2 sorcery points to get a level 1. If you click on the Font of Magic, it shows you the breakdown.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah, so I burn both.
What do you have in mind, Debbie?
I'd like to switch to my hand axes. If you could remind me of the schematics of that while it's my turn.
So if you want to fight with your hand axes, that is perfectly fine. You're going to have to let go of the actual like door mechanism that you're working, and you'd be limited to drawing one hand axe. Or you would have to use your action to draw the second one. At this point, I don't think you can cover all of that distance and attack this turn. So I would say you are basically dropping the door mechanism. Your free action to pull one hand axe, run 30 feet across the room, and your action to draw the other one, or you can do free action, or you can do your action to charge like the rest of the distance to give you 60 feet of movement.
I'm gonna go with the charge.
And then the other thing is, just to throw it out there, you have not raged yet. Rage.
Seems like a good opportunity. All right, so I pull out my hand axe and just really frustrated and mad at these bones keep attacking us. So I'm going to sprint forward and
You could also throw a hand axe if you wanted to, like, run 30 feet, rage, and throw a hand axe.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna run 30.
Sinmorn, you are outside of the room. I am sorry, but you are a ways away.
How can I get in?
Basically north of where Raymond is right now. I'm not gonna lie though. Wait, you're still stuck where you're at though. Until it's your turn. I think at this distance, Debbie, your hand axes are 20 feet. I think they're 20 like 80 or 2060. So you'll be at disadvantage for the throw. You can always go reckless and throw it and do something with advantage. Anything that attacks you has advantage to attack you.
Hmm.
At least I think you unlocked reckless attack at level 2.
Yes, I did. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go reckless. It seems to make sense to
Gotcha.
go
So
along with
that'll give you a
enrage.
straight attack with the hand axe. Yep. So you can just make that hand axe attack.
Still out of range with that.
No. What I mean with the 2060 is once it hits that first number, it's at long range, so you're at disadvantage. But by giving yourself advantage with reckless, you just make a normal attack.
Got it.
Barbarians are one of those characters that whenever you want to have advantage, you get to have advantage. So you throw this hand axe across the area and hear the crack of bones as it slams into this creature. And I believe that will take us to Hector.
Can I attack twice and then move? Can I move afterwards?
Most certainly.
Hector's going to take 2 swipes with short sword.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Technically, throwing a weapon will always be with dexterity, so you can't use the rage bonus right now.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to click that.
So, first short sword attack will hit as it sinks into this creature.
Roll my second miss. Or what happens with that?
Yeah, that one always misses.
Then Hector moves into the corner. Oh, watching carefully.
It is going to attack you as you move away, slamming a pile of bones down into you. 15 to hit.
Can I roll for anything or
No,
just?
your AC is 16. No, when you move away, it attacks you.
Okay, so what functionally am I doing here? Am I rolling for any type of defense? I have 2 swords up, so I've.
Nope, just move to wherever you were moving to. When you move away from it, it attacks you. And I don't think a 15 hits you. 16 is your AC.
Armor class 16.
Yep, so you're able to just move away from it and dodge its smite or its attack.
Hector bounds up the stairs as the bones explode all around him.
And then it's going to go to Sinmorn.
Okay, I'm gonna dash inside.
Uh, 30 movement, you should be able to basically get just behind Raymond. Any bonus action? It's going to go to Ali.
I'm actually going to retreat and head back to where Raymond is. And then as my action, I would like to just look at this dagger to see if there's any any writing or anything like that along the blade or the hilt. I guess like anything magical that I can see on the blade or any ritualistic
That's going to
thing.
take your action to do, but if you want to spend your action doing it, you can.
For
Roll an
sure.
investigation. So you've got a shitload of language choices. If you would like to, you can speak this language.
I certainly will.
Just choose one of them as oh shit, what should it be? Demonic. I feel like there's a different name for it in this book.
I see deep speech,
Yeah, go
draconic.
for infernal.
Okay.
As you pull it out to study it closer and read, you see this infernal speech, and taking the first few moments to kind of look it over, it seems like a reference to a sacrifice, trying to bring the praise of the Dark Lord. And as you kind of spin it, you see the same lines of the chant that seems to reference whoever this Dark Lord is the land. And then on the third side of this tripartite blade seems to be um the other one seems to reference again that same creature and basically say the ancient. So you basically have a dagger that seems to be written in infernal. It says he is the land, he is the ancient, and I already don't remember what I said for the first one. But it's a sacrificial dagger. There doesn't seem to be anything surprising about drawing this off of that altar.
Okay, and then as my bonus action, I'd actually like to cast Zephyr Strike. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to actually cast the attack on it. And then yeah, I'll go ahead and move. Actually, no, I'll just stay here next to Raymond.
Raymond, what would you like to do?
So first thing I'm going to do is drop my torch and shield, and I'm going to pull out my crossbow, and I'm going to bless one of the bolts for it, and I'm going to shoot it at the ancient.
Your shield is attached to your arm. It takes an action to don or doff a shield.
I can't shoot. Crossbow is two-handed, right? Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to burn an action for that, and then
To drop your shield still?
yes. And then at that point, would I be able to don the crossbow, but not shoot it?
Yeah, you could free action pull the crossbow.
Can I still bonus action Searing Smite before shooting it?
Sure.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
You're just going to see as this pile of bones rolls out of that little hole, and it just slowly crumbles over, moving forward and forward towards Edwin. Edwin, what would you like to do?
Was this a reaction, or are we back to the top of the order?
I don't think you have a reaction when it moves onto you, but it's on your turn.
Okay. So he is moved into contact, but he didn't have an action to use. Right.
Indeed.
Okay. I guess I will. I will cast Magic Missile on it, and then as a bonus action, do Tempestuous Magic, which after I cast a spell for level or higher, lets me fly up to 10 feet without provoking opportunity attacks. So here's that missile.
Sorry, is it Hector's turn?
Is that all you're doing, Edwin?
Yeah, I cast Magic Missile and escape using the
You don't wanna
Tempestuous
move?
Magic. Oh, I thought movement had to happen before the section. That doesn't matter.
No, movement. Again, you always can move. No matter what you've done, you can move up to your movement.
Okay, cool. I will backtrack through the door then.
And then it's going to go to Debbie.
Okay, just to be clear for my round, do I need to play rage before I do my attack?
No, you basically are raging for the next minute as long as you attack or get hit between your turns.
Got it. So I want to, I guess, drop my great axe and take out my other hand axe.
Well, you threw one of your hand axes, so it might be better to go for your great axe here.
Ah, you're right. You're right. All right. So I am reaching my great axe over, and like a baseball bat, I just swing it right around the torso at this great thing. Wrong attack.
Solid. Extra solid.
Nat 20.
And double max damage with both of the dice.
Woo!
As you chop a huge chunk of bones out of this, you see as a little baby skull kind of drops to the ground and rolls towards your feet. Any bonus action from you, Debbie?
No, I don't think I have any.
Gotcha. So you at least need to close the distance to it. Do you want to move around it at all, or are you basically just going to hold tight there?
Yeah, I'll definitely move around to the back or whatever appears to be the back of it, rather than in whatever range of motion is right in front of it.
In general, that doesn't really exist in D&D. Like, there's not really flanking rules in use, and everything pretty much sees all around it.
Got
So
it.
it will
Okay.
go to Hector. It's really like, do you want to place yourself closer to that hand axe? So next turn, like if it runs away from you, that you might choose like pick up the hand axe or run after it. That's really the like kind of debate.
Okay. Got it.
And then Thinmorn will be on deck.
I'd like to take out one of my javelins. Does that take like an
So you're
action?
dropping a short sword?
Can I sheath a short sword and then take out the javelin? Would that expend my
That
whole
would
spell?
end up being an action.
I'd like to do that. so that I have a javelin like in hand, ready to throw.
Gotcha. Any bonus action or movement from you?
I will move a little bit to the right to stay not as close to Stare.
And Sinmorn, what would you like to do? You've seen Edwin fleeing this place. You see pretty much everybody fleeing. And Debbie's in there just going ham on this pile of bones that's now standing almost 6 feet tall and looking somewhat humanoid for being an amalgamation of different bones.
I'm just gonna be like, good job, guys. I'm gonna head back now.
Where are you heading to, Sinmorn?
I'm just gonna follow the group back to the main room.
Are you doing anything with your action right now?
Does anyone need healing?
I would love some healing.
Do you look bloodied?
I am bloodied.
Other than that, it'll go to Ali unless you want to bonus action anything, Sinmorn.
Give me just a sec.
Well, you're thinking, what's Ali doing?
Um, hmm. What I'm going to do is I'd like to actually throw this dagger that I have in my hand at this creature. The range is 20, so if I need to move just a little bit, I'm fine with that. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I need to move like just a couple feet. So I'll go ahead and throw the dagger at this creature.
Solid strike. It seems to crack through one of the bones.
So I'm gonna, on top of that, I'm gonna throw a favored foe. And as the blade just sinks into the creature, there's this glowing light that kind of lights up around the blade, and then you can kind of see like this kind of glowing rune that just appears on the beast, just marking it.
If you do that, you are going to drop your Zephyr.
Man. Oh, because I have to use concentration for it. Oh, that
Yep,
makes
they're
sense.
both concentration.
So could I redo Zephyr Strike with a bonus action following after this attack?
Which would drop your favorite foe.
I see. So it's one or the other.
One concentration.
I'll go ahead and keep Zephyr Strike instead. And then I'll go ahead and rush the beast.
Favorite foe is an action anyway, so you couldn't have even done it there anyways.
Okay. It says when, never mind. So I'll go ahead and rush the creature and go ahead and use my bonus attack to attack with my short sword with the two of them fighting.
Yeah, you're right. It may couple it with the actual action of attacking. The second swipe of your short sword is just going to plink off of some of the bones.
Okay, and then could I actually use Lucky on this attack?
Roll a d20. still going to
really
end up
work in
being
my
a miss.
favor. So I moved 20 feet so far. I'm going to go ahead and use the remaining 40 feet that I have on Zephyr Strike just to get as far as away from this beast. I'll actually rush behind the other people in my party. And that was my turn.
Zephyr Strike doesn't actually... Okay, when you hit, it gives you the extra 30. So it's going to go to Raymond.
All right, I'm gonna kind of move up torch. Kind of move over here by these stairs. And do I have Searing Smite still, or did I waste that when I missed that last bolt?
No, with your Searing Smite, that applies once you hit.
All right, well, I'm gonna shoot another bolt at this ancient here.
So roll the Searing Smite. Wait, how many times have you cast Searing Smite now?
This would be, is this my second time since that last one? No, third
I
time.
feel like this is like third or fourth. I feel like you used it twice in the ghoul fight.
Yep, twice in the ghoul fight, and then cast it bonus last time, and then missed.
Yeah, you have a total of 2 spell slots right now.
Oh, well, that would be, I guess I cannot cast Searing Smite, so scratch that. My apologies.
I think the bones are going to roll back over, and this creature is just going to slam down onto Debbie. And the first attack should hit with a 22. And it's going to do 13 damage. And because you're raging, you will take 6 of that. And then the second attack, as it slams down the bones on you again, will be a 10, and that should be a miss. And then it's going to go to Edwin.
All right. Yep.
Edwin?
All right. After beating my hasty retreat, I hear a loud slam from the other room, or I guess a combination slam and rattle, splash. So I double back to the doorway, and right here, that's just like the lip of the little flat walkway around the pool, right? There's nothing in the way.
It's technically like a ledge with a banister.
Okay, I think my movement can take me to the edge, so just to make sure I can see clearly.
Yep. Gotta watch the sacrifices from somewhere.
Right. And then I'm going to attempt to cast. I'm going to attempt to cast Witch Bolt.
Solid strike.
Damage.
As it starts to pump in the power and the lightning starts to affect this creature, you can see some of the bones are starting to repair themselves.
Okay. And keeping the spell going is concentration, right? So if I wanted to do some kind of perception or insight with my bonus action, that might be kind of hard.
What are you thinking?
I was just gonna kind of cast my eyes around since the creature isn't really giving us a lot to go off of. And this is all very ritualistic. I was gonna try to look through the crowd of cultists and see if there's some sort of like linchpin or leader.
Hector notices something, but he's nearby. He can say something.
Just let him continue.
Yeah, basically, I just want to look around the cultists and see if or the room in general, and see if there's maybe a way we can affect the creature without actually directly hitting it.
You can roll a perception. Well, you 100% saw that your lightning is probably a poor choice of spells to use against this thing, and all of the cultists around the top just look like black robes. They don't look like humans, they look like black robes. You don't see any faces inside of them. They are just darkness staring back at you.
Okay. Yep, I think that's all I can do on my turn then.
Debbie, you're in a solid pitched battle. You've got your friends from behind you. What would you like to do?
I would like to grab my hand axe back.
Roll a perception check. Yeah, we'll go for that. You can see the hand axe inside of all of the bones, and you're able to pick it up.
All right. So I snatch the hand axe and I'm pretty pissed off. And I run up this pillar to the left, run up the wall, do a little flip, a back flip, and then I bring the first axe down onto the giant bone creature.
So solid strike with that one. You can add the D6 for your rage. No, wait, it's just a D2. Never mind. Or it's just 2 damage. So 11 total. Any bonus action from you?
No, unless I'm able to use like both hands for.
Next turn, you'll be able to do that.
Got it. Okay.
There's a specific feat that you can take that allows you to draw two-handed weapons, like drawing both of them at once. So if you like fighting two-handed like that, you can grab that feat up, and it makes it a lot easier to do.
Okay, got it. So then for the end of my turn, I'd like to sort of skirt around this dais and maybe try to draw the creature up onto the rocks, maybe gain some sort of advantage.
Gotcha. Do you have anything that you want to yell to your friends as you see some of them running, some of them coming closer? Is Debbie thinking about that at all, or are you just going ham on this like bone creature.
I mean, I'd say no more lightning. What is the only sort of visible damage that I did the last time? Just that baby head rolling off?
Oh, that in particular was because you did a bunch of damage. This thing's definitely taking damage. It's just one of those things, especially with like undead, there's certain creatures that it's difficult to really notice whether you're doing anything or not.
Okay, got it. I wanted to make sure that it didn't like roll back up into the creature when it was sort of regenerating. That it was actually taking damage. But yeah, I'd just say no more lightning, people. Throw all of your things at it.
Excellent. And then we'll go to Hector. Oh, you're actually leaving it. Never mind, my bad. It's going to swipe out at you, Debbie.
Okay. Yes, sorry.
17 should hit you. And it will do another 12, so 6 damage to you. My bad. Now it's on Hector.
So Hector moves up to the fence or the barricade of the pool. He's wondering, is this baby head the child that was eaten from the family? And brings that up to Edwin. Hector looks from the distance and sees, is there anything important about this baby head, or is this just a bunch of pile of bones that came off from Debbie's slashing?
You can use your action to do a perception check. You guys are in the middle of a fight. This is like stealing yourself away from a threat to look at something that seems to be inanimate.
Hector will toss his javelin at the boned figure pile.
Solid strike that will hit, dealing 6 damage.
And can I move and grab this baby head?
You can certainly try.
Okay, Hector dashes through the center of the pool after the javelin stuns, grabs the baby skull as he is carrying the skull of the 2 children upstairs already, and runs as fast as he can before the monster recovers.
And Sinmorn?
I'm going to cast Bardic Inspiration to Debbie.
What would you like to do for an action?
I'll cast Healing Word on Debbie.
Healing Word as well as the bonus action.
And Bardic Inspiration.
That's what I mean, though. They're both bonus actions. So you have to pick one or the other of one of those two.
How bad does Debbie look?
I have a feeling Debbie does not even look bloodied right now.
Okay, I'm gonna do Bardic Inspiration then.
Debbie, what have you taken? 12 total?
Yeah, 12 total. I still have 14.
Yeah, so she still looks perfectly healthy.
Okay, so I cast Bardic Inspiration so she can fight the thing.
Gotcha. Do you have a thought for your action? Do you have a cantrip that you'd like to cast? Do you want to throw something, shoot something?
I will throw something. Is there anything nearby that I can throw to her?
I mean, in the long run, I mean something that you have on you. You could throw like a bone to her, but that's not going to help.
I'm gonna throw a tinderbox. No, just kidding. I'm gonna throw a crowbar.
At Debbie?
She can catch it.
Not quick hands.
All right, Ali, what would you like to do?
Let's see here. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and charge this thing, yelling out just as I'm running, jumping over the banister, um, and then yeah, just slashing with one of my short swords across just this heap of bones. I'll go ahead and throw lucky into that. Does that hit?
It will not.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and do my bonus action and go ahead and strike at it with my second short sword.
That will be a nice hit.
And as I slash across this creature, is there any visible damage that it takes?
This will actually be the first time that you all actually start to see signs of these bones kind of like releasing like explosions of gas as they are cut apart. This thing seems to be taking damage.
We can take it down. Come, fight. And then I'll use just the 20 remaining feet that I have just to kind of get away into the corner.
And Raymond, what would you like to do?
I would like to cast the Word of Radiance cantrip.
That is like directly around your person. You guys have to stop going up and down that like it's nothing. That is technically like an actual banister.
I think with Zephyr Strike, I'm unimpeded by walls and things like that.
You are correct. Pretty low range there. So I'm gonna move up.
Yeah, that's 100% meant to be like you're surrounded by stuff. Pop Word of Radiance.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna move up to here and fire another crossbow bolt.
Excellent. Make the shot. Solid hit. Pierces through it.
And I don't have any bonus actions at this time.
Any more movement from?
Just the 30 feet, I believe. No, I'm fine where I am. I'll stay there.
I apologize, Jared. Actually, I don't gain. I'm thinking of something else when it comes to being unimpeded by walls and things like that. I'm going to move down right here.
The mound of bones is going to roll over towards Ali, and it's going to strike out as it rises high and just slams down on top of him twice. First one should miss with a 10, and the second one should hit with an 18.
It does. I have a 15.
And it's going to do 11 bludgeoning damage as it slams down on top of you.
So that would take me down.
And then it's going to go to Edwin. Edwin, are you maintaining concentration on your Witch Bolt?
I am not. So he up next to me, or am I considered up a level?
You are technically in combat still with it.
Okay. I'd like to. Oh, hang on. I don't know how often I can do this.
You have cover from the level, but like as far as casting a ranged attack,
Yeah, he's still within range. Okay. I'd like to cast Firebolt at one of these robes and try to set it on fire.
gotcha on the top level.
Yep. Just whichever one I can see that's like relatively close, not obstructed.
There's probably 40 of them up there. You can cast a fireball, it just goes right through it. Any bonus action or movement?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that tempestuous magic and fly a little bit
Gotcha.
away again.
That wasn't a leveled spell to do it?
No, it's not even a spell, it's a bonus action. I have to cast a first level spell. That's a
That's what I
prerequisite.
mean. That's a cantrip, is a firebolt. I don't think you have spells in
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'll move away then and just take the.
Gotcha. So you'll have a little bit of defense from the actual wall. It's going to swing out to you. A 10 should miss.
Yeah.
Debbie, you see one of your friends is down. Some of the others are coming to your aid. What would you like to do?
I think I'm going to try to throw one hand axe at the creature, but then dash forward and try to hit the creature with my other.
Gotcha. So it helps you at least a little bit if you close some of that distance and go like 10 feet closer. So you're within the range and you're throwing while you run, but you're definitely still welcome to do it like that. Do you want to go reckless?
Sure.
You can take advantage on both of those attacks. So the thrown attack. Is there a particular reason you want to throw it though? Just for show?
Just for show, because I feel like it would look cool.
Part of why I say it like that is all ranged attacks are dexterity, and your rage gives you +2 damage on anything that you do that's a strength attack. So when you're actually swinging, you do a little bit more damage.
All right. Yeah, the other reason was because now I feel like it was useless for me to move around the dais. But yeah, so in that case, I will just dash forward and do both strength attacks.
And if you do them recklessly, you can have advantage on your attacks. If it attacks you, you will have advantage.
Got it. All right, so I ran forward, leapt over the stair, and I hit it with the first axe.
So fish for a 20. Roll another d20. Just roll 2 more d20 for me. Like just the d20 though. Go on the left side of the screen. You can select the little polyhedron and just roll 2 d20 with that. The first one will be for the 25, second one will be for the 18. And then one more. Bam. So both of those strikes will hit, dealing another 17 damage. I have to think about the math, but I think you guys are getting close to where this thing is like severely damaged. That should be your bonus. I think that maxes your movement, so it should go to Hector.
Hector pulls out another javelin and winds up and throws it right into the center of the bones.
Solid strike. My math was just off. That's definitely the attack that makes it seem severely damaged. Although I lied because I didn't add Debbie's +4 damage, so Hector just does extra damage. Anything else from Hector? Any bonus action? Otherwise, it will go to Sinmorn.
Hector's going to move a little bit to the left, that's all.
Okay, can I go now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna charge with my longsword.
So swipe through the bones, and they seem to just kind of crumble out of the way, and your attack misses. Do you have a spell slot, bonus action, healing word on Ali?
Yeah, I do. I'll do healing word.
Wait a second, I feel like you can't possibly. You also have 2 spell slots total.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody right now have healing?
Nope.
As Ali is unconscious right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. So this is where anybody who remotely cares about Ali, like character-wise, this is where you have to get close to him and try to do a medicine check to stabilize him, because at this point he's basically floating in the water unconscious.
That's what I was going to do on my next turn. I thought you meant like magic, and I don't have.
No,
any
yeah, you're
magic.
good. Well, I was definitely hoping for magic that will get him back in the fight. But it should go to Ali here, and a death saving throw. Gets a 20, he stands up. So that'll be 1 failed. And then it's going to go to Raymond.
All right, I'm going to run over to Ali and do a medicine check.
So trying to staunch some of the wounds, you're able to stop a little bit of the bleeding, but he is still effectively bleeding out at this point.
All right, and that's my action, right?
Yep, that's an action to do. You still have bonus action, or you can move.
Yeah, no bonus action at this time. I'm gonna just move away a little bit. And that's about all I can do.
So it's going to roll over Ali and away from Debbie. Debbie, you can make an opportunity attack.
Do I just roll a strength?
It's just right now you have your hand axes, so it's just a hand axe attack.
Got it.
That will hit and deal another 6. And then you're going to see as the bones rise up and slam twice down into Raymond. 18, I think that'll hit Raymond.
Um,
No, you're 19.
Yep.
And then the second one will definitely hit. And it is going to do 9 bludgeoning damage as it slams down into you. And it's going to go to Edwin. Thing's struggling to keep like a humanoid shape, and it is more and more starting to resemble the pile of bones that it once looked like. Did we lose Edwin?
Nope, I'm here.
blinked.
Yeah, I saw the color go to my my turn. I was just double checking since I didn't hear anyone say anything. I am going to. How far does this drop?
It's just a few feet. It's not a dangerous drop.
Okay.
But
I'd
going
like to
down it and going up it are two different things.
Gotcha. That makes
was
sense.
my main point.
I'd like to step over here and attempt to stabilize Ollie.
Gotcha. Roll a medicine check. And that will stabilize him. Any bonus actions? Debbie, should go to you here. This thing is ripe for destruction. Would you like to go reckless as you attack it?
For sure.
So you have advantage on your attacks. At this point, you're pretty well aware of its AC at 15. Need to do just over 20 damage to it.
All right. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to get in between Ali and the monster. Ali, you will not die in this kiddie pool.
So fish for a 20. Roll another d20. Gotcha. So that's a hit, dealing 10 damage. Fish for a 20. Also will hit. That one does less, though. So it's going to just be hanging on with a thread. As it's going to go to Hector here. You all are pretty much at the point. One more person to land some damage is going to kill this thing.
Finish him.
Finish him.
Is it Hector's turn?
Indeed.
And how's Ali doing? Is Ali still unconscious here, it seems? Or did Edwin manage?
He is indeed still unconscious. He's stabilized, though. you can basically see right now Edwin is like staunching some of the last wounds and probably too far away to actually tell that he's breathing, but like Debbie and Edwin are well aware at that point that he is breathing stabilized.
Okay, so seeing that um, Hector doesn't need to use Spare the Dying, he runs up with his short sword and stabs it into the depths of the bones.
First strike will go wide.
Okay. Well, I had like an empty javelin, so the javelin is gone. So would it be an action to pull out another short sword, or
You can use your free action to pull the short sword and bonus action to attack with it.
okay? I will do. Sorry, just having trouble moving, Hector here.
Solid hit. And with that strike, you're going to see as the bones just start to crumble. And before your eyes, you're going to watch as they decay into dust. And then as they fall into the water, into a muck. And although I stopped the chanting a while ago because it was driving me nuts, the chanting will stop.
Hector looks up in the black robes himself at all the other black robes, seeing if they're making any different movements or sayings. Are they saying anything? Hector says he looks up.
They are still staring at you.
Hector takes out the baby skull along with the two other children's skulls he has upstairs, and he inspects the baby skull to see if he can find anything interesting or if it relates to the kid that was eaten alive.
Make a medicine check. Looking over the skull, none of the bone plates in the skull are fused. That's an infant skull, small enough, no fused bones. As far as you can tell, that's possibly the skull of Walter.
Looks like we found Walter, Hector says as he turns to the crew and Ali and sees how Edwin and Debbie are helping Ali.
So, while you all start to gather yourselves here, Ali, can you please roll a d4?
Is it a D4?
Yep. So, while Ali is unconscious, eventually, assuming the first of you goes to leave this room, you're going to start to hear as the chanting picks up again, and you start to hear once again, one must die. One must die. One must die. And it's all begun again. And that's where we will pick up next week.